Good afternoon. I would like to take the time to talk about my results from my study looking at FMS scores and their correlation to the type of injury sustained. So first off, with patient demographics, we used in our study, participants were only allowed to participate if they were current members of the Division III TLU men or women's soccer team, and they had to be at least 18. So anyone 17 on the team was automatically excluded from the study. However, if those candidates or those participants met that criteria, then they were welcome to attend the study and participate in the research. So of the 60 possible candidates from both teams combined, there were a total of 29 tested. So from the women's soccer team, there was 15 of the 24 on the roster that participated in the study. From the men's team, there were 14 of 35 possible participants who participated in this study. All participants had to complete all 7 components of the functional movement screen, and then as well had to do the 2-part clearing test as well. So we looked at a couple of different things because of how flexible and how much numbers and research we actually got from the study. So originally we only took the scores from each possible participant, and they were given their FMS score. So those ranged from about 10 to 16 or 17. From there, we decided to look at a couple different things. So we looked at the FMS score in relation to the injury type, which could have been strain, sprain, or a tendinopathy, and those were the only sorts of injuries that we classified and that we looked at. So contusions were automatically excluded, and then any soreness was also excluded from the identification of an injury. We also looked at the FMS score and the correlation to upper and lower body injuries. And then finally, we looked at the FMS scores in relation to the injury sustained. So this could have been any injury as long as it was a sprain, strain, or tendinopathy, but whether or not there was an injury sustained. So it would have been a 0 if there was no injury sustained, or a 1 if one of the 3 were sustained. So when we observed the FMS scores in relation to the type of injury sustained, so again, either a sprain, strain, or a tendinopathy, there was no significant difference. When we reviewed the results of the FMS score and their correlation to upper and lower body injuries, which there wasn't very many upper, but there was some. When we looked at those injuries compared to the FMS scores, there were also, again, no significant difference. Then finally, when we reviewed the FMS scores as to whether or not an injury was sustained during their season, there was still no significant difference, but there could be a clinical difference, at least specific to us. So research shows, and a lot of the literature shows, that currently the cutoff for FMS is 14. So usually that's like the number, that's the magic number, so to say, where injury rates differ from the lower half to the top half. And for our population and our participant pool, 15 seems to be the magic number. So at scores 14 and below, there was a total of 10 injuries sustained. And then for scores at 15, 16, and 17, there was only a total of 6 injuries sustained. So that was the most significant number we found. So while the others had while in total they did not all have a significant difference, the final one where we compared FMS scores to injuries sustained in a season had to be the most significant to us as a clinical site. And that is it for results.